November 29, 1943, a cold gray morning over the skies of Nazi-occupied Europe. Deep in the tail turret of the B-17 flying fortress known as Rikki Tikki Tavi, 22-year-old tail gunner Eugene Gene Moran braces himself. Above him, over 300 American bombers carve a path toward Bremen, one of Germany's most heavily defended industrial cities. The tension inside every bomber is palpable, every man silently praying for survival in the deadly aerial battlefield ahead. Suddenly, the radio crackles. Bandits, 12 o'clock high. German fighters have arrived, a swarm of deadly Bf-110s armed with new 21-centimeter Werfer grenade rockets. Their attack is swift and brutal, rockets streaking toward the formation like fiery meteors. For young Gene and the crew of Rikki Tikki Tavi, the mission is no longer about bombs or targets, it's about staying alive in a deadly game of cat and mouse where every second counts. This is not just a story of war. It's a story of survival against impossible odds, how the tail of a bomber was ripped away mid-schlit, leaving Gene trapped inside, fighting to live when all hope seemed lost. This is the extraordinary account of a B-17 tail falling with a gunner still inside. The deadly approach. As the formation approaches Bremen, German fighters are waiting with new tactics designed to tear the bombers apart. The Bf-110 twin-engine fighters, known for their speed and firepower, unleash a terrifying barrage of rockets at the bombers, aiming to break their tight formation. The pilot of Rikki Tikki Tavi, First Lieutenant Linwood Langley, barely has time to react as a rocket streaks perilously close to his cockpit, a stark reminder of the deadly stakes. With rocket fire shaking the sky, the bomber crews prepare for close combat. The roar of engines is soon accompanied by the staccato of machine guns. German fighters press in low and fast, seeking to exploit gaps in the formation and evade defensive fire from the top turret and ball turret gunners. Gene, stationed in the tail turret, feels the rush of adrenaline as tracer rounds fly past him and the enemy planes close in. As the chaos intensifies, more German fighters arrive. Bf-109s and the feared Fe-190 Butcherbirds join the assault. The sky becomes a swirling, violent battlefield where every bomber is a target, and every second could be the last. The Rikki Tikki Tavi and its crew are thrown into the heart of one of the most intense air battles of the war. The onslaught intensifies. Flak explosions and fighter attacks. Just as the bomber crews hope to push through, the deadly 88mm German flak bursts explode around them. The bombers shake violently as metal shrapnel tears through wings and fuselages. Flak has long been one of the most feared threats to Allied aircrews, and here it rains down like deadly hail on the Rikki Tikki Tavi formation. Despite the shuddering aircraft, the men maintain focus, watching for enemy fighters while dodging deadly bursts of anti-aircraft fire. Through the chaos, the crew prepares to release their bombs. Bombardier Donald Curtis waits nervously for the lead plane to drop its payload before opening the bomb bay doors. When the signal comes, the bombs fall, weighing down the plane and forcing a rapid climb away from the target zone. For a moment, hope returns as damage reports come back, showing the bomber is still airworthy, minor holes and scrapes, but all four engines running strong. But the relief is short-lived. As the formation begins to break up, the crew hears the terrifying cry. Bandits! They're back! German fighters are regrouping and coming in for another, more ferocious attack. The second wave will be even deadlier, and the crew of Rikki Tikki Tavi will soon face their greatest challenge. The fatal separation, cut off and under fire. During the renewed attack, Rikki Tikki Tavi is hit hard. The bomber is shaken by explosions, and one by one, other planes in the formation begin to fall away. The pilot's voice over the intercom grows frantic. We're being pushed out. The bomber is losing altitude and falling behind, an isolated target in a sky filled with enemies. Gene watches as the gap between his plane and the main formation widens. The once unified force is now fragmented, and Rikki Tikki Tavi is vulnerable, alone, and exposed to the relentless German fighters circling in for the kill. The sounds of gunfire and screams fill the cramped interior as the crew struggles to defend their falling fortress. In the tail turret, Gene is the last line of defense. Enemy fighters swarm around, and he opens fire with all he has. A German fighter draws close, and Gene exchanges shots with the pilot in a deadly duel above the clouds. For a brief moment, the German pilot gestures for Gene to bail out, a silent offer of mercy. But before Gene can react, gunfire erupts again, shattering any chance of surrender. The deadly battle rages on. The tail comes off. Suddenly, a violent explosion rocks the tail of the bomber. Shrapnel rips through the tail section, and Gene is thrown violently to the floor of his turret. Despite the pain and shock, he fights to get his guns working again, his body battered and bleeding. His arms are broken, his ribs cracked, but he keeps firing. Then the impossible happens. The tail section begins to separate from the main fuselage. Gene feels the terrifying sensation of being pulled backward as the tail peels away, carrying him with it. The aircraft spins uncontrollably, the sky a blur, the earth rushing up far too quickly. Pinned by centrifugal force and pain, Gene is trapped inside a spinning death trap hurtling toward the ground. The odds are unimaginable. Surrounded by destruction and pain, Gene faces death, but his story is far from over. The fall and miraculous survival. Gene's fall seems endless. Inside the tumbling tail section, he fights to keep consciousness as blood blurs his vision. The brutal impact with the forest below should have been the end. A violent crash that shattered metal and shattered bodies, but somehow Gene survives. Miraculously, he crawls from the wreckage, broken and battered, but alive. Despite shattered limbs and a cracked skull, Gene drags himself toward the faint light filtering through the trees. His world is pain and confusion, but also hope. Nearby, voices are heard. French workers and German soldiers discover the downed gunner. Instead of death, Gene is taken prisoner, rushed to a camp where a skilled doctor works tirelessly to save him. The physical wounds will heal, but the scars of war and near death linger. Gene's nightmares of falling, screaming through the sky haunt him long after the war ends. Aftermath and Legacy: A Hero Remembered. Gene Moran's survival is one of the most extraordinary stories of World War II aviation. While many in his crew perished or were captured, Gene lived to tell the tale, a testament to the toughness of the B-17 and the resilience of the men who flew them. His friend and fellow crewman Jesse Orison also survived, and together their stories became the foundation for the acclaimed book Tailspin, written by John Armbruster. Gene's experience offers a powerful glimpse into the brutal reality of air combat, the split-second decisions, the overwhelming odds, and the will to survive even when death seems certain. His story has inspired generations, reminding us that courage and hope can shine brightest in the darkest moments. Even today, nearly 80 years later, the tale of the B-17 tail that fell with a gunner inside remains one of the most gripping and unforgettable stories of the Second World War. War is often told in numbers. Missions flown, planes lost, men killed. But it is the human stories, like Gene Moran's, that truly capture the spirit of courage and survival. Trapped in a falling tail section, severely wounded and facing impossible odds, Gene's determination and grit saved his life. This story is more than history. It is a tribute to every airman who faced danger with unwavering resolve. The B-17 Rikki Tikki Tavi and its crew embodied the bravery, sacrifice, and tenacity that defined the air war over Europe. So next time you hear the roar of a flying fortress or see a glimpse of World War II history, remember Gene Moran the gunner who fell with the tail and lived to tell the tale. If you found this story as inspiring as we did, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more amazing tales of courage and survival. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.